Yeah, everybody, you are welcome to my platform, Timo Starboy, Reality Talk TV. I greet you at your location time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And for those people who have already sleeping, good night. Yeah, my fans all over the world, you are welcome to the platform, Timo Starboy Channel Blogs, on Facebook, on Twitter, Timothy Oladipo1, on YouTube, Timo Starboy channel, Timo Starboy Reality Talk TV. Yeah, Timo Starboy Reality Talk TV on YouTube. So Facebook, Timothy Oladipo channel. So thank you. Facebook, YouTube. So we are screaming, and as well as our Twitter. So Twitter at Timothy Oladipo 1, at Timothy Oladipo 1. So Facebook, Timo Channel TV. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you. You are welcome. All the time. So anyway, the video I want to play with you, for you now. The video I will play for you now is you see the title. Your current president, he doesn't think before acting. He does not think before acting. So that is the issue we want to iron out. We want to discuss how this man will be the leaders of a country, and he does not think before action. He does not think deep before acting. So that is a problem we're having. So allow me to play you this video. It's from the morning show, Arise TV. So I think you all know Arise TV. So that is the video. So let me play you the video. Sharp. Okay.
Niger Republic remains in the firm grip of military dictatorship as junta defied ultimatum by the Economic Community of West African States to relinquish power and restore democracy in the country. President Bola Tinubu last night met with governors of 5 Nigerian states sharing boundary with Niger Republic at State House Abuja to consider options in the bid to restore democratic governance in the troubled republic. Curiously, ECOWAS remained unusually quiet as the one-week ultimatum handed the Niger junta expired, with many people, both home and away, wondering if the regional body would still go ahead to activate military action as it initially threatened.
The situation in Niger Republic appears to be getting messier as the military junta has now cut ties with Nigeria, Togo, France, and the United States over the deadline issued to the coup plotters to restore democracy in the country. Nigeria and ECOWAS have had to quickly review the situation in Niger after an emergency session in Abuja, where a one-week ultimatum was issued to the military junta to restore democracy in the landlocked country.
Ibrahim, you are welcome to the platform.
ECOWAS agreed to place tougher economic sanctions
God will bless you and bless your home.
Which includes
continue sharing
closing all land borders with Niger,
and leave your comment.
Cutting off electricity, banning all flights in and out of the country, as well as stopping goods in transit to Niger, especially from Lagos and Eastern seaports. This was as the sub-regional body called on member states to stand by for possible military action. The chiefs of defense staff in ECOWAS have also met in Abuja to strategize on a possible military action with recommendations for boots on the ground sent to the ECOWAS heads of states and government for approval. The ECOWAS Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff, however, prioritized diplomacy ahead of any military engagement in Republic of Niger. In Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, who is also the chairman of ECOWAS heads of states and government, has written to the Senate, the country's highest lawmaking body, over the situation in Niger and the resolutions reached by ECOWAS to restore democracy in the country and restate Oyo State President Mohamed Bazoum. In response, Senate called on Tinubu and ECOWAS to explore political and diplomatic options against the deployment of any military interventions. Niger borders 7 states in the north of Nigeria, and there are concerns that military engagement in that country could create serious humanitarian crisis across the border into Nigeria. A number of northern interest groups, including lawmakers from the region, have kicked against military action and some of the economic sanctions aimed at forcing the military junta to relinquish power in Niger Republic. But what options are available to ECOWAS to explore in its quest to restore democracy after the expiration of its 7-day ultimatum, asking the junta to pack and go?
The junta remains defiant and held a rally in the capital, Niamey. They have ordered the complete closure of Niger's airspace until further notice and put security forces at the border on high alert, citing threats from ECOWAS.
Faced with the threat of intervention that is becoming clearer through preparation from a neighboring country, Niger's airspace is closed as of today, Sunday, August 6, 2023, for all airports until further notice. Any attempt to violate national airspace will be met with an energetic and instantaneous response. Niger's armed forces and all our defense and security forces, backed by the unfailing support of our people, are ready to defend the integrity of our territory and the honor of our homeland. To this end, the National Council for Safeguarding the Homeland launches a vibrant appeal to the youth, to the worthy daughters and sons of our country, to stand ready to defend the homeland. Long live the National Council for Safeguarding the Homeland. Long live the dignified and sovereign people of Niger. Long live an independent Niger.
Yesterday was the expiration of the 7-day ultimatum given by ECOWAS to the Niger military junta. Rufai, your take on this report and story?
So I'd like to start by quoting the song from Fela, which is Beast of No Nation. And he used the words advisedly. He says, these disguising leaders, now for them. They hold meeting everywhere. There is America. They call them United Nations. So Fela presses further to say, waiting united inside United Nation.
Who and who unite?
No be dear Tacha and Argentina day.
That's my favorite
The
song.
Falkland War.
My favorite
So I'd like
song.
to ask,
All this
waiting be the unity inside ECOWAS. No be dear Mali and Burkina day.
Ask them, waiting unite.
Truth is, we deceive ourselves so much in Nigeria. It has not shown all of us that ECOWAS is split down the middle. Some other countries under military junta under ECOWAS are saying, we are not going to support this. Some other countries are advisedly and cautiously watching. If we go ahead, it will be the burden for Nigeria to bear alone. And that's why we must be cautious. And that's why I'm happy the Senate has also spoken as regards this. Secondly, wars cost money. We have an economic imbalance in our country as we speak. Thirdly, there are cultural ties between the northern part of Nigeria and Niger. We all know how we wanted to build a rail line into Maradi. So maybe if the rail line had been built into Maradi, would we have shut down the rail line or bombed the rail line now? Because we're having a war with Niger, or we want to go into a war with Niger, or want to have military action with Niger? These are some posers. Honestly, I feel the initial decision by ECOWAS to even suggest a military action was too hasty. And I think it has also hardened the school plotters or the scoopists in Niger. We could have exhausted every means possible before we looked at any last means possible. And even at that, a military action would not have been the best order of the day. Because like Mr. Fallon argues, you still even need to involve the United Nations, Article 53. So what? You can't just invade a sovereign nation.
Exactly.
Secondly, what were we thinking about? Jean Afrique released a report recently about the state of health and the state and the conditions of President Bazoum. When he was first captured, he was kept under a basement. Afterwards, he was brought out, his phone confiscated. He hardly gets meals to eat. In a case where you invade Are we not putting President Bazoum's life in jeopardy? Apart from the cultural ties and all of that, now we are seeing the true nature of things. And now some countries in ECOWAS are pretty much going to say, oh, it's Nigeria, you are the largest party here, go ahead and fight. And for also those that make the argument that, can't we go in and the UN will help, and the US will help us? I say, help what?
Help who?
When the US said they were going to back us up on the days of ECOMOG, did they back us up?
They are all liars.
I'm sure some other people will say the case is different. But we should be cautious because we will just get into a place where we'll be fighting a lot of proxy wars. At first, don't forget, you have Chinese interests there. In all of this, China has not said anything. Hope we all know that China owns the
America is there
refinery in
too,
Niger.
as well. You know?
That supplies the States.
American
We have
military.
French and uranium interests there.
Yes,
Then we
there.
have American interests there. America has got a very big base there in the desert in Niger.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do we want to get ourselves involved in all this proxy war? If all these superpowers cannot agree amongst themselves, is it us with our own challenges that want to pull ourselves in? I think the Senate has led the way, and all the Senate has said, if I'm to summarize, and kudos to the Senate, when the Senate does well, I praise them. Kudos to the Nigerian Senate.
Yeah.
All the Senate has said is that we should be circumspect in our actions before we take them.
Exactly.
Okay, what are the facts of the case? The ECOWAS Council of Heads of State and governments imposed sanctions on Niger, demanding that Mohamed Bazoum, president of Niger, held in captivity, should be released, and that failing this, all of those sanctions that they outlined will apply, including blockade of Niger, including closure of borders against Niger, and all of those. And that if by yesterday, Niger did not agree, ECOWAS will consider the option of military intervention. The latest development is that number one, the president of Nigeria has now gone, as I assume other presidents who were at that meeting, because that meeting was boycotted, where that decision was taken, was boycotted by a number of West African countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Conakry, and also Niger. And their position was that they were supporting Niger and that they did not think that ECOWAS is in a position to urge military intervention. But the president of Nigeria, even as chairman of the ECOWAS Heads of State, cannot go to war without seeking the approval of the National Assembly. Section 5 sub 4, municipal law, applies in this regard. Section 5 sub 4 says that for you to commit Nigeria to a war activity, you have to seek the approval of the National Assembly at a joint sitting.
Yeah.
However, Section 5 sub 5 of the same constitution dealing with executive powers then says that, well, without prejudice to what is stated in Section 5 sub 4, the president can go to war if he has the endorsement of the National Defense Council. The National Defense Council can give approval for a limited combat, but the president has to come back to the Senate within 7 days, and the Senate and the National Assembly must approve within 14 days. If he does not approve, the president cannot take Nigeria to war. So those are the constitutional provisions. But what has happened now is that, one, we don't have a National Defense Council so properly constituted. There's no Minister of Defense who is a critical member of that body. And in any case, all the service chiefs are there, or any other person appointed by the president. What that will mean in the circumstance will be a unilateral decision on the part of President Tinubu taking Nigeria to war. The other relevant issue is Article 53 sub 1 of the United Nations Charter, which Femi Falana, SAN, has referred to. Well, before Femi Falana, SAN, Professor Bola Akinyemi, mentioned that same section of the UN Charter, on military intervention on this program.
Now, guys.
And the whole rubber.
Now, guys, let me stop this one right here. So there's other one I would like to play. Now, so that we can hear the conjunctively, So I want to just split my time between this program, because I have a lot of things to do. I'm busy here, So I will play the video in as much as the time factor. So we have 1 hour. So we will play the video, and I will let you understand where we young guys in Nigeria, we young youth, where we stand on our oath, on our mandate. So let's play the video randomly. We play the video randomly, and we make a comment, because you people are the judge. You will judge on this video we are playing. So let me choose. Okay. All the video we are playing is connected to each other. You know, we are not just saying anything that's out of the point. We are not saying anything out of the point.
I saw the clip before we started. I am really shocked. The primary responsibility of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to Nigeria, and not to ECOWAS.
Yeah.
He answers to us.
Just let us listen.
He does not even address Nigerians and justify.
Let's listen attentively. Let's listen to this video. It's very important. Yeah, it's very important. It's a connection on what we are talking about here. You know, the title that our sitting president now, he doesn't think before act. He does not think. He does not know what is going on around him. Even those people, those dumb and deaf and dumb, all those imbeciles that they surrounded him, they cannot even advise him. They cannot give him the good advice, you know, or to talk him to his senses. To talk to his senses, they cannot give him good advice. And he himself is not a reasonable guy. He just acting, he just open his mouth and talk nonsense, you know. He just talk rubbish, and he cannot fulfill anything, because he's not capable. This man is not capable. We have been saying it all along. He's an imbecile, you know. Somebody that is an imbecile, he doesn't know his name, he doesn't know when he was born, you know. He doesn't know the school he attended, and you want him to be function. You want him to be function. What kind of magic you want to use on that? So this man is incompetent. He's an incompetent president. So we should take him out. That is what we are saying. Let's gather together and take him out, and select the person that is ready to make to turn up the good of the country, you know. So anyway, let's continue the video.
Not even address Nigerians and justify what he's going to do. He's gone to the Senate to ask for approval. Has no way to declare war. It's not easy declaring war. You're sending your men and women into harm's way to go and get killed and kill. I've said it clearly from the outset of that piece I wrote. I am not into political correctness. We in the North, we are tired of wars. We have been at war for 13 years. For 14 years now with Boko Haram, since 2009. And 9 years with bandits and kidnappers. And you're bringing a fresh war to us? And we share with Niger Republic, long before the creation of these two entities, Niger and Nigeria, we have shared heritages in our culture, in our religion, in our languages. And we share a border over 1,000 kilometers from the northwesterly end in Kebbi to the northeasterly end in Borno. We have several miles in Nigeria and Niger. We have Hausas. They are the predominant tribe in Niger, 53%. We have Fulanis. We have Kanuris. The whole of Difa region around the northeast of Nigeria, they are Kanuris. So we're going to war and killing them for what? Before any president goes to war, he comes and explains to his people, these are the reasons why I'm going to war. What are the strategic importance, economic, security, or political strategic importance of going to war? What are the self-interests of that country in going to war? The people who are going to war on their behalf, the Western world, France and the United States, they know what their interests are. Their strategic interest is not the people of Niger or Nigeria, but what is underneath the soil of Niger and Nigeria.
Prof, well, is this really about ethnic identity?
Go ahead.
Is this about ethnic identity? The president approached the Senate.
No, you are.
Hey, sorry guys. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Entity. The president approached the Senate as stated in Section 5 of the Constitution, because the president of Nigeria cannot go to war without the approval of the National Assembly at a joint session. Or he may not he may just seek the consent of the National Defense Council and send troops on limited combat duty. But he was talking specifically about resolutions of ECOWAS. He's chairman of ECOWAS, and Nigeria is a signatory to the Constitutive Act of ECOWAS on coups and military interventions in the region.
Right. So he's sounding like he's answerable more to ECOWAS than to Nigerians. We in Nigeria, 78% of the landmass of Nigeria, 7 states, and 19 states in this country are saying no to an unprovoked war with Niger. It's not ECOWAS. His primary responsibility is to Nigerians, not to ECOWAS. He's not convinced us why he should send boots to the ground in Niger Republic. And for goodness sake, where are you going to get the troops from? The Nigerian military is stretched all across, deployed all across the 36 states of this country. Where is he going to get the troops from? Is he going to pull troops from the northwest, or the northeast, or the southeast? The only place there is some leeway is the southwest. And that will be a small number of troops. And he should be very, very careful. That is what I wrote there. He's going to do the bidding of the Western world. The fight in Niger is not our fight. It is going to be a proxy war between Russia and NATO.
Exactly.
And this is what concerns me the most.
Proxy war.
We're being surrounded by countries now where you're having this proxy war between these two countries. And we're going to do their bidding. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not even settled down. He doesn't even have his team, and he's declaring war without consulting the people, without the consent of the people.
He never make his house in order.
We say no to war, and we're not going to support any war.
Okay, I get your point. You had a number of recommendations, one of which is that diplomacy should be the best option. Where that diplomacy, as ECOWAS chair, President Tinubu had liaised with President Patrice Talon of Republic of Benin. He was the first person to go there. President Idris Deby of Chad was also sent there. The chief of air staff of Nigeria and the former governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, and one other were also sent there. They didn't make progress. Only this week, General Abdul Salami Abubakar and the Sultan were also sent, as a delegation, as part of a delegation, to talk to the coup leaders. In fact, they were not even granted the audience. So that diplomatic option has been pursued. It has failed. Are you suggesting that if the other ECOWAS chiefs, ECOWAS presidents, now that their army chiefs have met, if they decide to go ahead, Nigeria should just pull out? How would that make us look?
No, I'm saying if they decide to go, that will be wrong decision. And if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu takes the decision as the chairman of ECOWAS to go to war, he's doing that on his own.
No, but I'm saying that it's not a unilateral decision.
No.
It's a group decision.
No, Nigeria, no. Nigeria is Nigeria. And he's governing 200 million people. We have to give him approval to do that, even if he's the chairman of ECOWAS. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is more relevant to us than being the chairman of ECOWAS. We that know are telling him things that his advisors will not tell him. That going to war, sending troops into Niger Republic will be a disaster.
Exactly.
Unprovoked. We have had our own share of military takeovers in Nigeria. Nobody sent troops to us. What of Mali? What of Guinea? What of Burkina Faso? What of that Chad? That was the place where the French president was there babysitting the current president. Nobody sent troops there. We need to be very, very careful. Is there an internal problem? And we should be able to help them. And the reason why we are saying negotiations do not help, at the very beginning, you are putting on the table the threat of violence.
Anyway, let me, guys, I'm sorry about this one. I will stop it right there. I want to quickly give you this. Let me give you this video. Yeah, let me give you this video. I will put it on Bluetooth. Let me give you this video. Let me quickly play you this video. You know, it's very important. This is a good message to African people, most especially African leaders. Our leaders, that they are still a mumu. They are still a mumu. Their brain is not wake up. So they should try to listen to this. Please pass this message to them. Pass this video. Let them hear it. You know, because this war, they are about to escalate. You know, Niger war is not something that is very simple. You know, this is proxy war. The proxy war is coming. The proxy war, if we invade the Niger, it's going to turn up to the proxy war. And that is what we cannot avoid, you know. We cannot avoid it. So please pass this message to this our so-called non-entity leaders in Africa. So this message is for them. So let's go.
And nothing but the truth. France remains as a member of the UN Security Council.
I hope some people,
and yet France today
recognize
remains one of the biggest perpetrators of human rights violations in Africa. And everybody is giving it, the world is giving it a blind eye.
Yeah, look at
United Nations.
Very nice.
It is a body that's supposed to be the watchdog
and
for human rights violations. France remains the biggest risk to peace and security in Africa today.
Yeah.
And nobody is talking about it. France did something absolutely deplorable. Made the former colonies, because they still are colonized, sign a document which they called the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. Dig this. On one hand, we're giving you your independence. But on the other hand, sign this document.
You see the trick?
That you are agreeing to continue to be
trick
colonized.
Of colonialism. The master
so two countries said, no way, Jose, we ain't doing this. Guinea and Mali. The French could not understand it. How could an African country dare not want to be affiliated with France? So in their anger, history tells us that they went into those two countries, took everything that they thought they had brought, proceeded to pour concrete into the sewage pipes, completely devastating the two economies. This was also done as a way of letting the other countries know that should you refuse to sign this document, this is the fate that awaits you. So the rest of the countries signed the pact for the continuation of colonization remains in place. What is special about this? The Pact for the Continuation of Colonization said, 1, you shall deposit 85% of your bank reserves with the French Central Bank under the control of the French Minister of Finance.
Just in case you guys want to know the name of the woman that is speaking, Dr. Arikama Chinombari. Yeah, that's the name of the woman. Is a nice woman and a truth sayer. So it's giving you the lecture of what you're supposed to know about your history in Africa. So let's continue the video.
Government will take all your monies, collectively invest your monies in the French stock market under the French name. And you don't have to know what the returns are. Should you wish to access some of your money, keep in mind that countries are now left with only 15% of their reserves. You have to submit your country's financial report. And if approved, you get to access up to 20% of your deposits from the previous year as a loan at commercial interest rates. I'm going to repeat that. Should you want to access some of your own money, you have to submit your own country's financial report. And if approved, you get it as a loan at commercial interest rate. So you go from having a humongous credit with France to now owing France for borrowing your own money. A loan that you'll never be able to finish paying.
Look at the trick.
They also said,
are you hearing, guys?
All the minerals discovered and yet to be discovered.
That is the trick of the European people.
First right of refusal.
France, England.
You go to those countries today.
Americans.
All major contracts. French companies have the first right of refusal. The water supply, the power supply, the mining fixtures, the oil rigs, roads construction, airports. French companies have the first right of refusal. If anything is left, the people in your country may get it. They also said, your military can only be trained by France. You can only purchase military equipment from France. France shall have military presence in your country and can invade your country without notice if France feels that her interests in your country are being violated. In the past many years, we've had 67 coups in Africa out of 26 countries. Of the 26 countries, the coups, 16 coups, were 16 countries were former French colonies. To date, 22 African leaders were assassinated during a coup, documented all of them. France was behind it. Simply because France felt they were quote unquote threatening French interests. Countries are still depositing their funds to France, do's and don'ts as stipulated by the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. You have given up your financial resources. You have given up control of your natural resources. You have given up your military. What power do you have? Today, because of the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization, France alone, that little bitty country, is taking out of Africa over $500 billion. Over $500 billion. And by the time they finish investing that money into the French stock market, they're realizing trillions of dollars in any given year. Pack that. The watchdogs for corruption are saying out of Africa, 50 billion gets out of the continent from corruption. The question I have is, why has it been so difficult for us as Africans to say enough is enough?
Yeah.
How long?
Enough is enough. Our
Mumu
don't do.
Watching this carnage go on.
Our Mumu don't do.
And we say nothing. It goes back to the mind. It goes back to that fear.
Our leaders,
it goes back to that sense of inferiority.
Business.
And I go back to the diagnosis I made.
Business tycoon leaders.
That until we black people understand that we are suffering from the legacy of colonization, that we are suffering from the legacy of slavery, that while we may have lost the shackles of in our legs and our hands, the shackles of the mind continue.
Exactly.
Until we realize that we are a wounded people and we need healing, nothing about our circumstances is going to change. We are sick people. But to be sick, first you must realize and accept that you're sick. How do you go to the doctor if you don't think you're sick? We're not only in the doctor's waiting room on outpatient basis. We're not even in the hospital in a general ward. As Black people, we are in the intensive care. And we need to realize that. The baby is now born. And her name is the African Continental Free Trade Area. You see, the children of Africa must realize that now we need diapers, we need formula. There are going to be sleepless nights. This baby is going to cry. This baby is going to throw tantrums. We need to be ready to take care of this baby. Africa is on the move. The question is, are the children of Africa ready to step up?
Are we ready?
Take what is rightfully yours?
Are we ready?
You got to understand, around the globe, as Black people, the reason we are so disrespected is because we're poor.
Are we ready?
Most of us don't own anything.
To fight for our freedom, to fight for our life.
Singularly, while we were given our independence, the one thing that was denied from us is economic liberation. The African heads of states are saying, African wealth belongs to the African children.
Exactly. God gave
the
it to us.
The African Union defines African diaspora as all people of African descent living outside Africa. The colonizers have been building the Africa that they want. The game is up. You see, you don't go to China and find Black people driving the Chinese development agenda. You don't go to Europe. You don't go to Mexico, India.
You don't go anywhere
and find Black people
to control them there.
Those regions' development agenda. The reality is, you must not, cannot, should not, and golly will not go to Africa and find non-Africans driving the African continental development agenda. Unless, of course, you, the children of Africa, the inheritors of Africa's wealth, choose to vacate that place that has your name. The choice is yours. The environment is ready. And so, I'm on a mission to see to it that we, people of African descent, truly understand our Africa. Truly realize that we have been lied to, but that we're smart enough to know better. That we have been sleeping, that it's time to wake up.
Exactly.
You see, a united African diaspora is a sleeping giant. It is the sleeping giant that is needed to bring the sustainable change that Africa desires. Bigger corruption in Africa is coming from outside.
Yes, yes.
Try flying low over the DRC. You're going to see tarmacs in the middle of the jungle. You're going to see 747s flying into the DRC, picking up minerals and flying right outside the country. Do you think those multinationals are going to want to see peace in the DRC? Do you think they're going to want to see peace in South Sudan?
Never.
No.
Never.
A stable Africa is an Africa that cannot be exploited. So they will see to it that there will never be peace in Africa by any means necessary.
Exactly.
Unless
that's what they want.
Come to the table.
White supremacy.
And do something about it. For a continent that doesn't have a single gun manufacturing company,
it's time for us to
have
rise
endless
again.
supply of guns.
Yeah.
How?
Exactly.
How is this okay? That Africa continues to be exploited. How is it okay that the world has watched as France is taking cold, hard cash out of Africa? How is this okay? I want to know.
Me too. How is it okay?
United Nations, answer that.
How is it okay?
Secretary General
answer
Guterres,
that.
Answer that.
We need to
when
answer
you all
that.
meet every year in New York, what are you talking about? That is our reality. No more shall we continue to be ignorant. Our eyes are open.
Yeah.
We know our Africa. we are going to reconnect with our roots.
Exactly.
African Americans, you must understand there's a void.
It's very important
that is deep in each and everyone's subconscious. It is a void that affects everything you do. First, you must understand you have that void. In this country, with the exception of the American Indians, everybody is a foreigner. And everybody has their roots outside the United States. And the rest of the races are connected to their roots, with the exception of the African Americans. You're too busy running away from your roots. You're busy denying who you are. Well, guess what? It is what it is. You are an African.
Yeah.
And Africa is home. And the sooner you wake up and realize and accept that Africa is home, the sooner you're going to fill that void. For as long as that voice is in you, you're always going to be like a ship without an anchor.
Yeah.
The wind blows this way, here you go. The wind blows the other way, here we go. Find your base. Go home. Africa is where you belong. And Africa is where your roots are. Thank you.
Thank you, man. So that is it. That is it for today. So please, you are the judge. As I always said, put your comment below. Your comment is welcome anytime, any day. So this is Timo Starboy Channel Blogs on Facebook, on YouTube, Timo Starboy Reality Talk TV, on Twitter at Timothy Oladipo1. So put your comment and share our program. Share. God will bless you and bless your home. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye. Love you all.